For Inside Carolina, I'm Taylor Vippolis, and today I'm joined by Justin Jackson of the Dallas Mavericks. Justin, thanks for getting on here. How's everything been with you since the last podcast you were on back in March?
It's been good, man. It's been a crazy time, obviously, with the pandemic, and then all of the discrimination and all that sort of stuff that's been going on, the riots and protesting. It's been a crazy time, but I mean, it's been a good time just to be at home and, you realize what your priorities are and what's really important in life. So it's been a good time of reflection for sure.
I wanted to first have a conversation with you about the racial issues that you just mentioned and that we've seen amplified over the past month or so. Out in Dallas, you were out there during the protests and at the vigil for George Floyd. Why was that important for you to attend?
Um, I think there comes a point in time when you have to actually put into action what you say that you stand for. And for me, I stand against discrimination. I stand against biases. Stand against stereotypes. I stand against just wrongful doing when it comes to, you know, being based on somebody's color of their skin or somebody's religion or, those sort of things. So for me, I thought it was important. And honestly, it was, I think a lot of the credit has to go to Mark. He kind of set up the whole thing with a few of us. But for me, it was really important because it was, there has to be more and more people, I guess you would say higher profile people that take a stand as well. It's, you know, if guys that, have been blessed with more, if they just kind of sit back and, act like it doesn't affect them, well, it does affect them. It affects everybody in society. So, it was just really important for me to get out there. There was a bunch of good speakers there. They really said some really good things about stuff. So, it was just really important for me to get out there.
You were out there with a few of your teammates and Mark Cuban, like you just mentioned. What's it like playing for him? Because while most owners, they're just putting out these blanket type statements because they seemingly have to at this point. But you've got an owner like Cuban that's not only listening, but also advocating and speaking up on behalf of his players and the Black community as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, Mark is very, like you said, he's very outward about, supporting his players, supporting what they believe. And then obviously too, he is against the discrimination that has been happening. And so I think, playing for somebody that has your back in all aspects, on the court, off the court, whatever it is, it helps a ton. And I think, he's one of the best out there that does, encourage people to speak their mind, encourage people to stand for what they believe, and he backs them 100%. So it's pretty cool to play an organization that's owned by somebody like that for sure.
Now, there's a lot of fans out there who aren't racist, but they might turn a blind eye to other people that are. And I just wanted to get your perspective as a former athlete at UNC and now in the NBA. How disheartening is it where there's a vocal group of fans who will cheer for you on game days, but then off the court, they wouldn't even see you as an equal or care about the racial injustice that is currently happening in the country?
I think it's a shame, honestly. And I'd be the first to say that UNC has some amazing fans. But there is, a very outspoken amount of people that, have those feelings that you just mentioned. And I think it is a shame. I think it shows that, some of those fans view us as just basketball players, or they view certain people as just, whatever their occupation is or whatever they can give to them, entertainment or whatever it is, that's how they view them. They don't view them as another human being. And obviously that's the biggest problem in society is there are a lot of people that don't view the person sitting in front of them as just another human being. And, to all of those fans that are outward about, or that would, not even necessarily say a word to somebody that has, made, racial comments or whatever, it is wrong. Like all of us are humans, like the whole race thing, was a human created type thing anyways. So at the end of the day, like if you look back at our origin, we were all humans first. So why is it that now all of a sudden, because somebody is a little darker, or somebody, believes in a God, or somebody doesn't believe in, whatever, like why are they so different from you? Like it for me, it just, I can't comprehend it. And in my mind it is wrong, and it's a shame for sure.
For the fans that want to learn, you posted about the Great Challenge on social media, which is all about educating and understanding to make a change. What have you watched over the past month that you would recommend to someone who wants to learn more about the Black experience?
I've watched quite a few. There was a new show that just came out it's called The Banker. Or it's not a show, it's a movie. But that one is a little less, I guess I'd say, graphic when it comes to like the way that Black people and African Americans have been treated. But that one's a good one. I watched Harriet, which is obviously about Harriet Tubman. I've watched, I've watched Free State of Jones. I've watched Selma. I've watched 12 Years Slave. And those really, if they don't get you emotionally going when it comes to, the discrimination and everything that they had to deal with, back when, slavery was still, legal. I don't know what would, but there's a lot of good ones out there. And actually, I think Apple Music, they made some of them free during this time, to, I guess, to allow people to go and watch it, that wouldn't normally pay to watch those movies. So there's a lot of good ones out there, though.
Yeah, on Amazon Prime, and um, in addition to some of the movies that Justin watched, I would just recommend Just Mercy with Michael B. Jordan. That was a good one, and it just really makes you feel uncomfortable the whole time watching it. But I think that's what it's trying to do when it's bringing these issues to light. And some players in the NBA, they were opposed to a restart because of fear it would end any momentum built over the past month. Has there been any discussions within the team about how you guys can continue to use your platform when you get down to Orlando?
I think, there was a lot of people, or a lot of players that felt like, this was a time when we really need to focus on, um, trying to use our platform for, the race issues and things like that in society. Um, Me personally, I feel like people view our platform more higher, or more whenever we're playing.
Mm.
Like if somebody turns on the ESPN, and, you know, Luca's on there, and he does some nice move, they might go to his social media or something, and, see something that he had posted.
Mm.
Um, so I feel like, personally, playing, you have a bigger platform. But, I think for us as a team, we really, we've had like Zoom calls with the coaches and everything like that to kind of talk about, when everything first happened, to just kind of talk through things and stuff like that. But we haven't really had just a team meeting about, what are some things that we can do while we're in Orlando, or, those sort of things. But I'm sure, in the near future, we will we'll have some sort of meeting that we can talk about those kind of things.
Moving on to the restart, the Mavericks are heading out to Orlando next Wednesday. How are you balancing the safety concerns that come with the NBA restart and also just wanting to be out there doing your job and doing what you love?
Um, I think, at the end of the day, it is our job. But I think, the biggest thing, whenever it comes to staying safe and all that sort of stuff, is it's all kind of basic hygiene. You know what I mean? It's washing your hands. It's, not just coughing on people. It's not just being in people's, quote unquote personal bubble all the time. It's just it's personal stuff. Now it's wearing a mask, just throwing a mask on. Yeah, is wearing a mask annoying? Yes, it is. It is annoying having to wear a mask, but just throw one on. Just protect somebody else. Like it's simple things, and it's really just a matter of putting somebody else in front of yourself. You know what I mean? And so with the bubble, I mean, I think they're doing every precaution that they can to make things as safe as possible. And so we'll see how it is once we get out there. Obviously, I don't really know what to expect, to be honest. But I think the NBA and the NBPA, I think they've really set up a good, safe area for us. So now it's just we can hope and pray that there isn't some kind of outburst or something like that. So we'll see.
You're just 2.5 games out of the 4 seed in the West. When the season resumes, how do you try to get off to a hot start to better position yourselves for the playoffs?
I think it's just preparing now. Obviously once we get out there, we have I think 20 days or something like that to, have a, training camp or practice days. So, it's just preparing each and every day. I think, you could look at it as we're a very young team. So, we should be able to get out to a hot start. And we're a very talented team. So, I think we're very deep and we're able to use a lot of different talents, on the court at the same time. So, I think it's just preparing, getting our minds right, getting our bodies right, getting the chemistry back right, and really trying to make a hard push for it.
The team is a little short-handed coming into Orlando than what you'd normally be. You've lost Dwight Powell and Jalen Brunson to season-ending injuries, and now Willie Cauley-Stein is sitting out the restart. But you also have 2 players in Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis that are going to be better than a majority of teams that you play as 1-2 punch. How are you approaching your role on the team for this restart?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just always trying to be aggressive, um, always trying to assert myself as much as I can. And also, doing whatever I need to do to help the team. That's always been my mindset is, I'm gonna go out there and be aggressive and, take advantage of the time that I get, but I'm also going to try to do everything I can to try to help the team win. And so for me, it's just, obviously, like you said, we have some guys, that are either, out for the season or, like you said, Willie's sitting out. I think C. Lee might be done this year. So for me, it's just, in those times, whatever coach decides to do with my minutes or, playing or whatever, it's just going out there and trying to produce as much as I can, which for me has always come from being aggressive, asserting myself, and just going out there and playing. And so, this break has really, I would say rejuvenated myself mentally and physically, but mentally a lot. So now it's, I'm very free, and, now I can go out there and just play and, whatever role I'm in, that's what I'm in. I'll go and try to do the best I can.
Now, when you guys get to Orlando, the teams have been placed in 3 hotels with the top 8 teams in the Grand Destino Tower. It's the newest and reportedly the nicest in all of Disney. You guys are in the next tier at the Grand Floridian, which by all counts is still a deluxe luxury hotel. But is there any extra motivation there not getting the top spot?
It's interesting that they even did it that way. I'm sure they would say that they didn't do it, to put those guys in the best hotel. But I mean, for me, it's kind of like, okay, well, they earned that. They were the top 4 in each conference, so so be it. Now we gotta try to do the best we can to make it to the second round so we can move to the nicest hotel. So we'll see. Like you said, it's still. I'm not going to sit here and act like the hotel is still not super nice and they've got a bunch of stuff set up for us. But we'll see. We'll see what the difference in the hotels are once we get there.
Outside of basketball, the NBA has set up things like movie screenings, DJ sets, video games, ping pong, pools, golf, barbers, manicures, and pedicures. What excites Justin Jackson from that list?
You know what, man? I just got a bag of clubs, but I don't have a putter. So, um, so I probably won't be taking my clubs just because of that. I don't want to be the guy that pulls up and is like, "Hey, can I borrow your putter?" Um, but for me, man, and I'm pretty sure you know this very well. I'm a huge video game guy. So, to be honest, all that extra stuff, it doesn't necessarily excite me. For me, I shipped one of my gaming monitors down to Orlando already, and so I'll have my
Commitment. The
system.
commitment.
A lot of people say there's no quit in Justin Jackson, but for me, that's huge. That's what I do all the time. So it'll be the same exact thing for that. But I mean, like, pedicures, pool, obviously, the movie screenings, whatever movies they might be having, or, if they have new ones or old ones, whatever, I'll probably, join a couple of those. Um, and then I'm sure that, as a team, we're super close. So I'm sure that we'll do some things together, that would be, pretty enjoyable. But, I'm cool with just my PlayStation and a TV or a monitor or whatever. I'm cool with just that.
The first thing I want to say is I'm glad we are above a good pedicure shaming on this podcast. Sometimes you just have to treat yourself.
Sometimes you just, sometimes
You're
the
working all
dogs.
day on your feet. Some days you just have to treat yourself, right?
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes the dogs just need some treatment, man. You know what I mean? So no, there's no shaming at all. Even if you do manicures, you know what? To each his own. You know what I mean?
And then the other question I have for you is, say you go down next week, is there any chance you're getting a haircut there, or do you have too much loyalty to your barber back home?
I'm for sure getting a haircut here right before I leave, guaranteed. But then I started thinking that's like a month and a half or 2 months. And not only that, it's on TV. It's
Yeah.
not like we're just on our own. So I think I'm going to let other people be the guinea pigs and get their haircut first and see kind of how it looks.
They can't
And
be coming back looking like it's supercuts or anything?
yeah, man, they can't. If they come back and it's all crooked, or they mess all sorts of things up, then I'll probably just be going rough for 2 months. It is what it is.
In the bubble, guests can only come after the first round of the playoffs, which would be like the last week of August. What's that going to be like for you, being away from your wife for essentially a month and a half?
It's rough, dude. Like that's the main reason that I would say that I'm hesitant to want to go. Um, is just the fact that we are going to be, I say cooped up. Obviously, there's a bunch of wonderful things that they have set up for us, but we're going to be in a hotel for a month and a half, maybe more, um, without ever being able to see family. And for me, I don't have kids yet, so I'm thinking, even from people's perspective that have kids, like, you're not going to be able to see your kids for a month and a half, 2 months. If you keep going, 3 months, and that's just a long time. But at the end of the day, we'll get through it, and it's part of the job. Unfortunately, it's not one that I necessarily signed up for when I first got into the NBA. But the pandemic brings stuff out that you just gotta keep rolling with the punches. So, we'll see how it goes. FaceTime and texting and stuff is definitely, I'm probably gonna be maxed out on it. That's for sure.
Now, if you get to the second round, you're only allowed one guest, and obviously you have your wife, Brooke, and you're close with your family, but how many guests would have to be allowed before my name starts to come up in the conversation?
Oh man, let me think, bro. I'm gonna say TBC, bro.
Okay.
To be continued, bro.
Okay.
I would say you're probably top. I say you're top family, top 15, top 20.
I'll take that. I'll take it.
I say
Don't
you're up
drop
there.
it any further to top 25. I'll take it. Stop
All
right
right,
here.
all right, cool. That's cool. Top 15, top 20. We'll do that.
Justin, man, always a good time catching up with you. Thanks for coming on here today.
Of course, bro. Appreciate it, man.